welcome family. Welcome from all over the world. Thank you so much for joining me. As you can see, I have a special guest again. Yes, it's my mom. My name is Jacqueline Crooks. To all of you who don't know me, grace and peace be unto you from God our Father and Lord Jesus Christ. We are so thrilled to have you here today. Well, we have a power-packed we have a power-packed conversation that we're going to talk about. My mom's going to share some things, and I think it's going to be an encouragement for all of us, as a matter of fact. And you know what? Let's just go ahead and get started, okay? So, our subject that we're talking about is when death and loss happens, unexpectedly, and what do we do? And I was reading, and the Holy Spirit had me focusing on Ruth and Naomi. And Naomi's family, they went, I forgot to let Mom say hi. Mom, you want to say hello?
Hello, everyone.
Yes, thank you, God. Thank you for Mom being here. You guys, my mom's going to talk to us about some of the things that she went through. And when God just uproots you, He's done, but you're not done, and how we adjust for that, and all of the emotion and stuff that we go through, and how we walk through what's death in our life, and it feels like a death when those things end as well. And so we're going to talk about that, and she's going to share because my sister passed away at a young age, and we're going to talk to my mom about that. And then also my mom is served as a pastor's wife for many, many, many years. And then, my father retired, and we're going to talk about what that feels like, the letting go, when you're not quite ready to let go, but God says it's time to let go. And the perfect example we have in the Bible is with Ruth and Naomi. Ruth went into her and her husband, I'm sorry, not Ruth, Naomi and her husband left Bethlehem and went to the Moabite area because of a famine. And when they got there, they had 2 sons. And their sons got married, and they enjoyed life there. It was wonderful for them. And then Naomi's husband died, and then after her husband died, then her 2 sons died, And then, Naomi told her daughter-in-law, she said, I'm going to go back because there's nothing left for me here. And she was very bitter. But Ruth, her daughter-in-law, said, I'm going where you go, and your God is going to be my God, and wherever you go, I'm going to go. So Naomi and Ruth left, and they went back to Bethlehem, where Ruth was from. Her other daughter-in-law, Orpah, she stayed, okay? She stayed with her family. But when Naomi got to Bethlehem, everybody was calling her Naomi, and she goes, don't call me Naomi. She goes, call me Mar, because she was bitter because of all the things that God had done. That she didn't have anything to do with. That wasn't because of anything she had done wrong. It wasn't because of anything her husband had done wrong. It was just, that was the season, and God was done with that season. And what we want to talk about is how we move when we're broken, when God has, He's done with that season, and we're not yet done with it. We still have attachment to it, and we don't understand it, and how we move in that area. So we're going to talk to my mom about my sister and the death of my sister, and how that impacted her, and what she gleaned from that, and what strength that she got from that God took her and carried her to where she is today, and what we can use when God just ups and moves us. Amen. And we go, wait, what? Whoa, what? Wait, I'm not finished yet. And God goes, I'm finished here. And, how do we move with that? So anyway, we're going to get some tools and tips from her. That's why she's here, because she's been through it. Mm-hmm. Okay, Mom, so let's talk about, first of all, just, the process, kind of like what you went through with Angie. That was my sister, Angie. Angie was a pastor's wife. Her husband served as pastor of a church in our city, Paradise Missionary Baptist Church, Pastor Alonzo Morris, and my sister, yes, served as the first lady there, and she passed away, and it wasn't expected. So, Mom, why don't you talk about that for a little bit?
Yes. First, I'm going to say is that death is never something that you get used to. Mm-hmm. But because we know that we are not here to stay, we make our home in Jesus So when that day comes, we know we have another place to go.
I think that's just you saying that death is something that we don't get used to, and that it's death is something that we don't get used to. But also, she said that where we are, we know we have another place to go. So we can't look at our assignments as being permanent.
Exactly.
No matter what assignment we get, we can't look at it as being permanent and we're just going to stay here on this job and we're just going to stay here and pastor and we're just going to stay here and expect that that's the way it's going to become. And so it sounds like to me what you're saying is that whatever God puts us or whatever assignment, we have to be prepared that it's not permanent.
Exactly.
It's temporary. It's a temporary assignment and that we can be moved. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I
That's
really
all
want to just
right.
get that point.
And as I was saying, so we prepare. And in preparing, we know that God is a provider and He gives us that sense of knowing that He's there with us. So, when my daughter, first of all, my daughter was Angela, like she said, was 37 years old. She was married, and her husband was a pastor of the church. They had 4 children, 2 sons and 2 daughters. And like she said, she was the first lady. My daughter was really sincere about the Lord. She had become very strong in the Word of God. And she dedicated herself. She was a musician. She played the piano. She was a teacher, Sunday school teacher. She handled her children very well. And she was just a God-sent person that loved the people and would do anything for anybody. So she prepared herself, and not that we love being here, but when we prepare, we know that that day is going to come. And sometimes it comes early than what we expect. We don't know the time of death or the place or how, but yet we do know. So it's a painful thing for the family, yes, because when you lose a loved one, it hurts. But the good thing about it is that God takes you through the grieving part, and then, like I said, you look at the beautiful part to know that who they are with. They are with the Lord. Matter of fact, they have went on to the other side where the rest of us will have to go.
So, and because they've gone on or they've moved on, okay, and you're aware of that, then how do you, what steps, tools did you use to move you to where you are today? I mean, so what we want to know is, okay, God says this is over, and you lose a loved one or you lose an assignment for no absolute reason. She was a God-fearing mom. She had 4 children. The youngest one was 3 years old. So it's just like, God, what are you doing? When there's all that kind of confusion and you're just not sure in your mind. I mean, what tools did you take with you that God gave you that we can apply with everything when He ends any job or anything that we're doing?
For me, knowing that my daughter was as strong as she was in the Lord, and to see how she reacted in her illness, how she prepared for the family to come together and to spend her moments and giving instructions. That was the Lord having her to prepare and put things in order at her time of leaving her children, her husband, her family. But yet and still, the love that she had for God, he give her the strength to be able to do that, even though she knew that her time was drawing near. Right there was strong encouragement that she was leaving for me in my life, even though I was her mother. But God used her to give me some strength to be able to accept what he had done and to move forward, because she had 4 little children, and my whole thought is that we are going to honor her request by helping to make sure that these children and her husband have everything that they need and to give them that love. That was one of the main things that encouraged me. The other thing was...
So let me stop you right there.
Okay.
So the assignment prepared you.
Right.
So what she's saying is that my sister Angela had done all these things
Exactly.
that prepared her for what was next.
Exactly.
Which then means whatever assignment we're in, even though it doesn't look like we're prepared, and even though we don't feel like we're prepared, the assignment prepares us for what's coming next.
Exactly.
You know, so whatever we're gonna deal with when this door closes, we've gotten everything we need to move forward, even though it doesn't feel like it.
Right.
At least that's what.
And yes, it's sad, it's painful. You go through those moments, you grieve, and because you know that's it. You know, she's gone on home, and you no longer have the pleasure of her. You have her memories, you have her pictures, you have all of those things to have here on earth. But then all you can do is take those and to live and to go further. And God is with you through the grieving, and he will help you to move forward if you stay close to him the way that you're supposed to. He will give you that strength, and you're able. That's how we as a family were able to get through that and to move forward.
And I think that there were some really good points in there that she's saying. One, you stay close to God because he's the head of the assignment.
Exactly.
2, you have your memories. And 3, I think that it's okay to grieve.
Yes,
you know,
it
it's
is.
okay to
Yes,
grieve.
it is.
It's okay to grieve a loss of a loved one. It's okay to grieve a loss of an assignment that we love. It's okay to be frustrated, mad, angry, but we don't stay there.
No.
You know, because we're with God and we have a relationship with him, he carries us through that process. But going through that process, we will have these emotional stages that we're going to go through, and that's okay. It's okay for us to be angry. It's okay for us to not understand. It's okay for us to go, what the heck, God, what are you doing? God can handle that, you know. And he encourages us and brings us through that when we are connected to him.
And there's a point in that, and this point I raise high is simple reason because when she made mention about it's okay to grieve, and in that grieving, there was some errors that she pointed out, and she said, it's okay to get angry. It's okay to be frustrated. That right there is a very serious note, because in families, sometimes we don't understand that we all grieve different, and some people grieve angry, and that can be sometimes cause a conflict in the family. But it's something that we must know and ask God to help us. When my daughter passed away, I did go through some of that, and there was a minister that called me out the blue and said to me at that particular time when that was happening, and I said, okay, well, I'll get a phone to my son-in-law, and he said to me, no, I want to speak with you. it was like God had showed him what I was going through with, and I hadn't said a word. But what I'm saying is that when that happened, when you don't understand, if you stay close to God, God will give you insight and help you to understand what's going on, because we don't always know what's going on. That was the first time that I had lost a child, or I had been involved in losing my daughter and had grandchildren, had son-in-laws. So God will give you insight. God will help you, and that's when you are closer to the Lord and you ask God to direct your life and to help you. Those some good points.
I'm sorry. And
That's okay.
I was just going to also say that I think it's okay also to, we project blame. You
Right.
know, we
That's
look for
the
people
word.
to blame.
Right,
You know,
right.
we go, well, if they hadn't done this, then this
Right.
wouldn't have happened. Or
Right.
they should have did this, and then this wouldn't have happened. Or, you know, when we look at our job, and when we look at assignments, you know, we're looking for someone to blame.
blame.
You know, we
You're
become
hurting.
angry at the person who let us go. You know,
Right,
we're
right.
blaming them. You know, when all it is, in truth, all it is the general, God, the general has said, I have need of you somewhere else.
Exactly.
And he's taken you off of that assignment and he's moved you to another assignment, you know. And we see that in the Bible with Naomi, where she was bitter because, you know, she felt like
Yes.
she had lost everything.
Yes.
And you know, and it's like, well, God, we were doing everything right. I mean, nobody was out doing anything wrong. Why did you cause this to happen? You know, and even though her name meant blessed and prosperous, she's like, I don't want anybody to call me blessed. Call me Mark, you know, because I'm bitter because of what God has. I left full and now I'm coming back empty, you know. And there's times when we just feel like that, you know. That's times when we feel like that. But you know, as my mom is saying, that's when we cleave even more to God
Amen.
and brings us into a more intimate, closer relationship with Him.
Yes.
And He helps us, walks us through that. And like
Yes.
she said, He will send people that you don't even have to say anything, and He
No.
will just send people to encourage us, to give us hope, to strengthen us
Right.
through those difficult times, you know, and that's the kind of God we serve, you know, and we're gonna wrap up this part and move over to the part of her with my father leaving as pastor of the church, and as long as she served there, you know, and then talk about, you know, what she's doing now, and in the same way, you know, when Naomi and Ruth got to Bethlehem, she saw another blessing that God had for her that she could have never imagined. And because of that, because of Ruth having a baby and Naomi got to nurse that baby, you know, David came through that bloodline, you know, but she had no idea what God's plans were. And I want to talk to my mom and have her share about, you know, we can even finish up with what, you know, now, you know, my sister's children are, one's married,
yes.
a couple of them are in college. I mean, and we just see great things happening in their
Right.
life, you know,
Right.
and God has really blessed them, and the kids are really going up, and it's been an honor to serve in that capacity.
Amen.
But I'd like to, before we go too long, I'd like to go ahead and jump over to her serving as a pastor's wife for what, Mom, 40 years?
Yes.
Yes, serving as a pastor's wife for 40 years. Not a calling that she asked for, not an assignment that she wanted, assignment that God gave to her. And we want to just talk about, you know, not so much the assignment as is when God removes us from that assignment. He doesn't ask us. He just says, okay, your time's up here, you know, and what you do and how you move through that, because that's still another death. So, Mom, you want to share a little bit about that?
Yes. My husband and I was always Christians. We believe in God. We were raised in the church. And as young couples, we started our family. We had our children. And we also raised them up in the church. And my husband had joined the church, and I came here, and we both were in the church. We served, had a great pastor and family, and we grew up in the church because we were young. And after we raised our children in the church, we became a part of that church family. And it wasn't nothing, we didn't think of anything else, but this is our church, this is our family, this is where we are. As far as leaving or going into place, that wasn't in our mind. But my husband and I grew in the church. He first was working on the usher board, and he did God used him to do very well, and then he moved into the deacon board, and they wanted him. And then after that, the members started seeing some changes in his life, and we started seeing it, the children and I, and God was dealing with him, and he was going into a stronger directions in the Lord.
So he was growing in his faith.
He was growing in his faith.
And God was
yes.
calling him to an assignment. So people could see the assignment that God was calling him to. So he left, and we left and went to another church.
Right, we did.
And then that pastor left. And then and when that pastor left, the church selected Dad as the pastor there. Correct?
Right.
And so then you guys began to serve. You began to serve as the pastor's wife, and he as a first lady, and he began to serve as a pastor. Correct?
Pastor of the church.
Okay, family. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do a second. We're going to move right into the second part of this. About her as serving as a pastor's wife, and what that role looked like, and how she was able to do that, and we're gonna show that in the next segment. So let me close this out, and then we will go. You will hear us. We're gonna stay here. We're gonna film it, so y'all not gonna miss it, and you will hear her talk about the separation of after serving so many years as a pastor's wife, what that role was like, and then how after serving there, what it was like when God said that time was up. So let me close with where we are, with sharing with you about my sister and how God really just blessed our family, and how He has blessed her family, and how we thank God for the tools and tips that we received from my mom on that. And so we're going to end here, and then we're going to stay in tape, and then I will post that one in a later segment.